mushrooms, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, brothers, sisters, mothers, misters, and all my cousins. It's time to break down the news, and so let's plug in and get this train a chugging. And so he's threatening to pull that funding out and not give any more money to the WHO permanently. Forever. The reason that I brought this up here, pulled this up and highlighted it, is because of the placement of the adverb. Now, there are some grammar Nazis out there, some grammarians that are a bit overly pedantic, and I see their point here, because technically it's to pull, and that's an infinitive. And in most languages, the infinitive is actually one word, and so by putting the adverb here between the to and the pull, that's what they call splitting the infinitive. And those pedantic grammar Nazis will argue that this is grammatically incorrect. However, this is just the best way to do it a lot of the time. Orthodox really just means normal or usual. And so if something is unorthodox, it's outside of what society normally considers normal. So he's choosing a particular treatment which is not usual, it's not standard, lies in the face of evidence. Evidence could be some sort of physical thing, but it's something which causes you to believe something else is true. In a crime, often they will look for footprints in the ground, or they'll look for fingerprints, DNA. They collect this physical evidence, things. It can lead them to the belief that something is true. He's guilty! Ah! To strongly go against it, basically, goes against the evidence. Vaccine trial shows positive early results. In this case, a trial just means test. They're testing a vaccine. We also see trial a lot with court cases where people are on trial for crimes that they may or may not have committed. And that's the point of the trial in court, to determine their guilt or innocence. Coming from the verb to reveal, to show something which was hidden before. Now, often when we have a revelation, it's some sort of information that was meant to stay hidden. However, he chose to reveal the fact, to show the fact. He revealed that information. He hadn't said it before. Brace for the strongest storm ever recorded in the Bay of Bengal. This spells disaster. Recycle vocabulary. Spells disaster for many, many, many people out there. When they're saying to brace for something, it's to brace yourself. Hold on to things. Brace yourself, so that way then you're in a stronger position, you're supported, and you're able to deal with, on one condition, that we will do this if you do that. To back somebody or back something is to support it. Yeah, okay, no problem. We can do that. I support your investigation if God has a lot to answer for. But if somebody has to answer for something, it's like they have to be held responsible for something negative. Bad things are happening. We're all unhappy with God. And I keep saying him. It could be her or nothing. Who knows? That's not the point of what we're doing here. Why? And so he has to, because he's responsible, he has to answer for all of those negative things that he, she, it, or nothing has done to us. God has a lot to answer for. I'm going to hold you responsible, God. Off the charts meth bust. Oh, why didn't I highlight bust? Bust is an arrest. Yeah. The police got the people. And usually, in this case with meth, drugs, then there's probably some sort of seizure. The police are confiscating, they're taking control of stuff. And so the people got busted and the drugs were seized. This one was so big, it was off of the graph. Just like my hand is off the screen, it was bigger. It was so big that the graph itself, or the chart, wasn't big enough for it. And so if something is off the chart, it's at an unprecedented level. Recycle vocabulary. Baselessly. There we got a nice adverb with two suffixes. Now let's get rid of the ly that makes it an adverb and stick with baseless. Yeah, and the less, remember, means without. Without what? Without base, the bottom of something which supports everything else. And armies stay in bases, and that's like their home, that's their ground, that's where they stand, that's what supports them. In a way, that's where all their food and everything is stored. Advanced Learner's Dictionary, and they didn't have baseless Lee. They only had baseless. Made baseless accusations. Good collocation. Baseless claims. And that's without evidence. Ungrounded accusations. Basically, wild claims, pure opinions, speculation. Rockets go up into the sky. To skyrocket means to go up like a rocket. And so it's shooting up in a very dramatic fashion. That was a physical leak because a liquid or a gas escaped from the container, which was meant to hold it in. So leaks are bad. However, leaks aren't always physical. As we see here, a video was leaked, and then 2 women were killed in one of these so-called honor killings. Please, let's get out of the Middle Ages here. It was meant to be contained, but somehow it escaped and got out into the public. Leak secrets, leak video, leak information, and then of course liquids and gases in a more physical sense. An idiot is a stupid person. As an adjective, idiotic. Idiot. Idiotic. Stress shift. A brief moment where parts of the brain stop receiving blood, and therefore it causes some sort of problem, and it can leave people really damaged or hurt. My barber, the guy who cut my hair from my first haircut through until when I went away to university, he had a stroke, and after that, although he could still understand everything perfectly, he couldn't express himself. He could write, but he was unable to actually form words because that part of his brain was damaged. Nudity, being naked, having no clothes on. If you are naked, then you hazing. We see this word with like fraternities and sororities, especially in the US, but it could also be they do it in the military. You might even see it in some sort of companies and things. However, it's just harassment, playing pranks or jokes on the new person who has joined a group or organization. And because he's the new guy or the new girl, then you do kind of just, it's meant to be fun. Initiate them into the group. However, in this case, with hazing, goes to the next level and becomes something people get hurt or injured. And so in this case, it's a cheerleading coach and it's involving some sort of nudity. Live up to the stereotypes of cheerleader coaches being perverts or something like that. Was blown away by his daughter following him into professional wrestling. To be blown away, to be extremely surprised, to the point where it's like the wind, it blew me off my feet. He was blown away by the information. Extreme surprise. It's not about explosions. Launch like a rocket when it is released. Sell out, there's none left. All of them were purchased by customers, consumers. Why? There's lots of face masks out there. What makes hers any sort of better? They're hers. To sell out of something means that there are none left because everyone has purchased all of them. And then often we use it as sort of a passive adjective. They are sold out. Shelves are empty. Tourist destination bans cruise ships through 2021. To ban, to prohibit, not allow something to happen, not allow them to come to their port. To roll out, it's like you have a carpet and you just and it rolls out. It also means to start something, to begin doing something. Roll out new features on their operating system, roll out new features on their web browser. In this case, they're rolling out different protocols for entering their stores, different procedures for entering their stores. Hospital bed, which is designed for, or which was designed for. So we've got a reduced relative clause and a reduced passive. Hospital bed designed for coronavirus also transforms into a coffin. Now, a coffin is a box for dead people. And so this is pretty dark. It's pretty morbid, but it's also very practical, and part of me loves it. But just think about it. If you're in the hospital being treated for, well, any sort of illness, and you know that your bed can automatically turn into a coffin, the box for dead people, What sort of effect is that going to have on your psyche? Probably not super optimistic. Might as well just close it down, boys. Put that last nail in the coffin and bury me. It's just so disgustingly practical. Whatever the thing before that cannot affect it. Just like you've got waterproof and windproof. Well, this is age-proof. And so by keeping your heart healthy, you will be able to protect yourself or make yourself impervious to remove the vulnerability or immune to aging. It could help. I don't think it's age-proof, but it will help you resist the negative effects of aging. If your kids are acting out, they might just be sad, or they might just be bored. To act out means to misbehave. Behave bad. And so, yeah, maybe the kids are throwing tantrums. Yeah, and maybe they're sad. Maybe they're bored because they're locked up all day. Oh, hey, buddy! Waldo decided to join us. He's not acting out, he's just happy to see me. I know I act out when I'm tired and hungry. Just like you can slam a door or slam something down. In this case, it just means, though, it's not physical, it just means to criticize something very, very strongly. They were pushing this theory, moving it forward. They were saying it, they were supporting it, they were the ones pushing it forward, they were promoting it. However, now, instead of pushing it forward, oh, no, not really my thing. I never said anything. I would never say anything like that. Not to be disingenuous. Recycled vocabulary. Friend of Ernie, if you're still out there, last week we had to have an edge on somebody or have an edge over somebody. It's the quick and dirty Google test, right? And so you put up the phrases, throw the quotation marks around them, so that way then the search string is exactly those and not variants thereof. 8.2 million and an edge over 7.1 million. If you're wondering what is not necessarily the right way, but the way that things are said most commonly then by native speakers, and you'll be able to see which is more popular. So often if you have two different forms of an adjective or different ways of saying things, throw it in quotes, throw it into Google, and you'll see what the world most commonly says, so that way then you can sound more like the native speakers. And if that's what they're saying, higher likelihood that it is correct. That was breaking down the news for Tuesday, the 19th of May. I hope you have a beautiful day today. Please do hit the like, subscribe, follow, and pass us along to a friend. That's it for English Otherwise. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.